I am recording this tutorial a few days before Halloween, so let's draw something creepy! What about realistic dripping blood and a droplet? Yes, this will be so much fun! We will create this illustration using only two colors, red and white. I will use this red. You can copy these values if you want to use it too, but if you prefer to draw dripping paint or chocolate or whatever, just choose a different color from the color wheel and follow along with it. We will use Liquify to create the dripping effect. To play around with this tool, the first thing we have to do is to draw a shape and fill it with color. Then go to Adjustments and tap on Liquify. Here we have many options. Each time we tap on any of these options, we are choosing a brush that creates a different effect. In this tutorial, we will use only a few, pretty much push and expand for creating the dripping effect and crystals for the droplet. Let's talk about the sliders. Size. With this slider, we control the size of our brush. See? Let's make it bigger and use it again. Pressure. If we set this high, we won't need to apply too much pressure to get a stronger effect. But if we set it low, even if we add a lot of pressure, the effect will be very subtle. So, don't set it too low or you will think your Apple Pencil is not working properly. Distortion kind of determines the level of distortion at the edges. In this case, we get a wavy result, but we will get different results depending on the effect we've chosen. If we set this to none, look how smooth it looks! Momentum determines for how long the effect will continue after we lift our pencil. This is a bit complicated to see. Let's get rid of all the waves and do it again. Well, the higher the momentum, the more the effect will continue after we lift our pencil or finger, okay? Having said that, imagine our canvas is a smooth wall and let's start making the blood flow. Increase and decrease the values of the sliders and see what happens. Now that you know what the sliders do, you shouldn't have any problem adjusting them. Once you have the stalactite done, tap Expand. We need to make the tip rounded. Now tap Edge. We are going to get rid of some of the waves. We will also use Edge to make blurry edges look sharp. If we want to draw a falling drop of blood, instead of flowing down a wall, use Pinch this way. Easy as pie, right? Choose Push again and continue drawing our bloody illustration. Let's push here down too. And expand to make the tip rounded. Okay, the shape is done. Next step, add light, shadows and highlights. We are going to create a different layer for each one, okay? We will apply a blend mode from the darken set to our shadows layer. I've chosen color burn, but I maybe change it later, we'll see. We will apply a blend mode from the lighting set to this layer. I will choose screen. I think add will be too much for this illustration. and we won't apply any blend mode to our highlights layer. Now, turn them all into clipping masks. We are going to create quite small highlights, so we can keep the layer as it is right now. Let's start making the shadows or darker areas. As I said before, we will use the same red color for everything but the highlights. The blend modes we applied to our layers will turn the color lighter or darker, okay? I'm using this red and the soft brush. Decrease its opacity and increase its size. As you see, it looks quite dark, right? Blending modes are wonderful. The blood will be always darker near the drips and brighter near the top. What areas we have to make lighter and which ones darker? Well, that depends on the amount of blood, how long it has been dripping, etc. We can draw many different dripping blood illustrations. I want this to look even darker, so I will change the blend mode to linear burn. Now the lighter areas. In this example, I will start from the top and draw light areas here and there to make it look like there is not the same amount of blood everywhere. Thinner areas will be lighter. Both drips will have two light areas. One here, that will be the reflected light. The reflected light is the light that bounces off our white surface and strikes the drips. And another one here, because I decided that the light is coming from the left, so this part is facing the light source. Let's change the color to white and make the highlights. Don't forget to draw them in the right layer. Don't add too much pressure. It usually looks better if we add paint progressively. Let's zoom out and see how it's looking. Not bad for a few minutes work, right? Now I will show you how to draw the shape that a blood droplet takes when it hits a flat surface. Choose the red color, go to layer 1 and tap the selection tool. Select ellipse and draw the diameter. Tap and hold on the screen with one finger to create a perfect circle. Now, use color drop to fill it. Blood droplets are not perfect circles, right? Let's distort it using Liquify. This time we will use crystals. To make the effect more uniform, try to tap more or less. Why don't we make it a little bump and keep the Apple Pencil perpendicular to the screen? Good, but this is too perfect. Why don't we make a little bump? We will use push for this task. And expand to make it a bit more rounded. Finally, let's use crystals again. Our shape is ready. It's time to focus on making this look real. We will start with the lighter areas. As with the dripping effect, the lighter areas will be different depending on the amount of blood, the angle of the surface, how dry it is, etc. So, in my example, the blood is much thinner near the edges. That's why I'm drawing the edges lighter. And there is not the same amount of blood everywhere. So I will add a lighter area here. And here too. Now let's draw the dark areas, keeping in mind two things: the light source and the amount of blood. The more the blood, the darker. But as the light is coming from the left, we will darken even more the right area. Let's work now on the highlights. Let's zoom out and see how it is looking. It looks a bit lumpy. I think I need to blend the dark and light areas a little bit. Let me work on this. Okay, final touches. To make this more realistic, we need to add a few small satellite drops. Pick the ink bleed brush and let's draw them. Wait, I think I'm not in the right layer. Yeah, just what I thought. Well, that's all for now. See you next time!